The alien guards did not look at the bartender. They stood at the door of the space station bar, tall and hard like living armor. Their blue eyes scanned the room, watching for danger, trouble, or weakness. They checked faces, hands, weapons, and body language. Every creature in the bar felt their cold attention. Every creature, except the man behind the counter. The bartender wiped a metal glass with a clean cloth. His movements were slow, calm, almost boring. He was human average height, dark hair touched with gray, plain clothes, no armor, no visible weapon. To the guards, he looked like nothing, just another soft Earth civilian trying to survive in alien space. They ignored him completely. The bar itself was loud and crowded. This station, Carthnine, was a neutral trade hub. Smugglers, traders, mercenaries, and pirates all passed through. Many species drank together, but peace here was fragile. One wrong look could start a war. Behind the counter, the bartender listened. He listened to the low growls of the wrecked soldiers. He listened to the sharp clicking laughs of insect traders. He listened to the drunken shouts of off-world mercenaries telling lies about battles they never fought. His name, at least the name people knew, was Jonah. No one here knew his past. Jonah placed a drink in front of a tall reptilian customer. The creature's claws scraped the counter. To slow human, the reptile hissed. Jonah nodded politely. "Sorry, busy night." The reptile snorted but took the drink. Jonah did not react when the claws came close to his hand. He had faced worse than claws, much worse. At the far end of the bar, a group of armored mercenaries laughed loudly. Their armor was black and red, marked with old battle symbols. They were not guards. They were killers for hire. One of them slammed his fist on the table. "This station is weak," he said. "No one here would last 5 minutes in a real war." Another mercenary pointed toward the bartender and laughed. "Look at that human, probably never held a weapon." The guards at the door smiled slightly. To them, humans were fragile. Earth was known for trade now, not war. Old stories of human violence were treated like myths. Jonah kept wiping the glass. But inside his mind, something stirred. The sound of laughter echoed differently for him. It reminded him of another place. Another time. A burning sky. Screams over broken radio signals. Orders shouted as cities fell. He pushed the memory away. That life was over. He had chosen this place, because no one asked questions. No one looked. Twice at a bartender. No one cared about a quiet human who served drinks and kept his head down. Jonah glanced at the door. The guards shifted their weight. One of them adjusted his rifle. Jonah noticed the way they stood confident but careless. He saw blind spots, weak angles. Old habits never truly left. A small alarm light blinked above the bar. Unnoticed by most, Jonah noticed it instantly. Power fluctuation, he thought, or something worse. A loud crash came from the docking side of the station. The bar went quiet for half a second, then chaos returned, dash louder. People shouted, some laughed, others reached for weapons. The guards spoke into their communicators. Their voices were tense now. "Unidentified breach," one guard said. "Multiple life signs." The mercenaries grinned. Finally, one said, standing up, "Some fun." Jonah placed the clean glass down. His hands stopped moving. Another crash shook the station. The lights flickered. Drinks spilled. A scream cut through the noise. Jonah felt the old cold focus settle over him. His breathing slowed. His heart beat steady and controlled. This was not a bar problem anymore. This was a combat problem. A wounded alien staggered into the bar from the hallway. Blood, dark and thick. "They're killing everyone." The alien gasped before collapsing. The guards raised their weapons. Panic spread fast now. Jonah looked at the fallen alien, then at the doors, then at the people who could not fight. Families, traders, workers. In his mind, a voice whispered, the voice of a man he used to be. "You don't walk away when innocent people are about to die." Jonah closed his eyes for 1 second when he opened them. The bartender was still there, but the man inside was awake. He moved quietly to the storage area behind the bar. No one noticed. No one cared. They did not know that beneath the floor panels, hidden long ago, was something very old, something very human, something that once made entire alien fleets. Changed course when they heard his name. ignored the bartender. They had no idea that Earth's most feared warrior was about to step out from behind the counter. And when he did, the station would never forget what humans were truly capable of. The storage room was small and dark. Jonah locked the door softly behind him. Outside, the bar filled with shouting and fear. Weapons fired somewhere down the hall. The sound was sharp, clean, professional. Not pirates, Jonah thought. Soldiers. He pulled up a loose floor panel. Under it was a long metal case, scratched and burned at the edges. He had not opened it in years. Jonah rested his hand on the case. For a moment, memories pushed hard into his mind. A battlefield covered in smoke. Alien warships falling from the sky. A voice over the command channel whispering his call sign in fear. The Reaper of Earth is on the field. Jonah exhaled slowly and opened the case. Inside lay a compact armor vest, dark gray, thin but strong. It did not look powerful, but it was built with human war tech from the darkest days of the war. Next to it was a short rifle, simple in shape, deadly in function, no bright lights, no alien symbols, just human design, clean, efficient, final. He put the vest on. It fit perfectly, like it remembered him. He checked the rifle, feeling its weight. His hands moved without thought. Outside, the station shook again. A loud alien voice echoed through the halls. All life forms, submit. Resistance will be erased. Jonah's jaw tightened. Same words. Different war. He stepped out of the storage room and back into the bar. No one noticed at first. Then a mercenary screamed. One of the alien guards at the door dropped to the floor. Armor cut clean through. No loud blast, no warning. Just a silent fall. The bar froze. The second guard turned. Confused, Jonah fired once. The guard collapsed. The mercenaries stared. The bartender stood there, calm rifle resting easily against his shoulder. His eyes were not angry, they were empty. "What is that human doing?" one mercenary whispered. Jonah spoke, his voice steady and cold. "Get everyone behind the bar, now." Something in his tone made them obey. Another blast rocked the station. Doors, they exploded inward. 3 figures entered. Tall, black armor, red, glowing marks. Elite assault units. They scanned the room fast. One of them pointed at Jonah. "Human, eliminate." They raised their weapons. Jonah moved first. He rolled across the floor as energy fire burned the air where he stood. He came up behind a table, fired twice. One attacker fell. The second lost an arm. The third backed away, shocked. "This is impossible," the alien hissed. "You are civilian." Jonah advanced slowly. "You should have checked history." The alien tried to retreat. Jonah did not let him. Silence returned, broken only by breathing and distant alarms. The bar was filled with staring eyes. The mercenaries lowered their weapons. For the first time, fear showed on their faces. One of them spoke carefully. "Who are you?" Jonah looked at them, at the shaking civilians. "At the boaties, I'm the bartender," he said. Then his communicator buzzed. An old channel, one he thought was dead. A familiar voice came through, quiet and stunned. "Reaper, is that you?" Jonah closed his eyes. They had found him, and the war he tried to escape had followed him here. Outside the bar, heavy footsteps approached. A lot of them. The footsteps outside the bar were heavy and steady, not rushing, not afraid. Professional Jonah stood still, listening. His mind counted numbers, distances, angles. At least 12 units, maybe more. Elite, not station guards. The kind sent to finish a job, not start one. Behind the bar, civilians pressed together. Some prayed, some cried quietly. The mercenaries stayed close to the walls, suddenly unsure of themselves. The communicator buzzed again. "Reaper," the voice said, louder now. "If that is truly you, stand down. This station is under Dominion control." Jonah lifted the communicator from his vest. He did not answer yet. A small alien child peeked over the counter, eyes wide. Jonah met the child's gaze for half a second, then gently nodded toward the back exit. "Go," he said softly. The child's parent grabbed them and ran. The footsteps stopped outside the broken doors. A tall figure stepped in. His armor was different dark, silver, marked with command symbols. His helmet, faceplate, glowed faint red. The air around him felt heavy, like pressure before a storm. "Human," the commander said. "Identify yourself." Jonah walked forward into the open space. He did not raise his weapon. He did not lower it either. "I work here," Jonah replied. Some of the soldiers shifted. The commander tilted his head. "Interesting," the commander said. "A bartender who kills 3 elite units in under 10 seconds. The mercenaries swallowed hard. Commander activated a projector on his wrist. A red symbol appeared in the Iran Old War mark. Jonah recognized it instantly. The Dominion War Archive. "We have records," the commander continued. "From Earth's war years, 1 human unit that broke every line, 1 commander who never lost." Jonah's grip tightened. "You were declared dead," the commander said slowly. "Burned in the siege of Ash Cities." The bar was silent. Jonah finally spoke into the communicator. "I told you to erase that channel." The voice on the other end went quiet. The commander froze. Then, carefully, he removed his helmet. His face was alien, scarred deeply across one side. One eye was artificial. Jonah knew that face. "You," Jonah said. The alien gave a thin smile. "Yes, the one you spared." Memories flooded back. A battlefield under black rain. An enemy commander pinned under wreckage. Jonah standing over him, weapon ready. "And choosing not to fire? You taught me something that day," the alien said. "That humans kill only when needed." He raised his hand. The soldiers behind him hesitated. "But you also taught us fear." The commander looked around the bar, at the dead elites, the broken door. "This station was meant to fall quietly," he said. "No witnesses." His eye returned to Jonah. "But you changed things." Jonah stepped closer. "Call them off." The commander shook his head slowly. "I can delay, not stop. The fleet is already inbound." That word hit hard. Fleet. "How long?" Jonah asked. 8 minutes, the commander replied. The mercenaries cursed under their breath. Jonah turned to them. "You want to live?" They nodded quickly. "Help get civilians to the docks." Now, for once, they did not argue. Watched, curious. "You still protect those weaker than you." Jonah met his gaze. "That's why we won." Alarms screamed louder now. Red lights flashed. The commander spoke into his channel. "All units hold position. Do not engage the human." Static filled the air. A voice answered, shaking. "Command, confirm. Is it him?" The commander paused, then said the name. "The Reaper of Earth." Across the station, weapons lowered. Some soldiers stepped back. Some whispered prayers in their own languages. Jonah felt the weight of the name settle on him again. He had buried it, tried to forget it, but the universe remembered. A young Dominion. Soldiers stepped into view, trembling. "Sir, humans are not supposed to be this strong." Jonah looked at him. "We're not," he said. "We just don't quit." A massive shadow passed over the station windows. The fleet had arrived. The commander replaced his helmet. "If you stay, you die." Jonah shook his head. "If I leave, they all die." Silence stretched between them. Finally, the commander spoke, quiet and honest. "Then history will repeat." Jonah turned toward the window, watching the warships lock into position. Once, he had led armies. Now he stood alone in a bar. He checked his rifle, checked his armor. 8 minutes. That was enough. The bartender took a breath and prepared to remind the galaxy why humanity was never meant to be underestimated. The station lights dimmed. Art's emergency power kicked in, bathing the corridors in red. The alarm no longer screamed. It pulsed slowly now, like a heartbeat. 8 minutes. Jonah moved with purpose. He sealed the bar doors and activated the old station. Map on the wall. The mercenaries were gone, guiding civilians toward escape pods. The commander remained near the entrance, watching Jonah with unreadable eyes. "You cannot fight a fleet from here," the commander said. Jonah didn't look at him. "I don't need to," he marked 3 points on the map. Power core junction, defense grid relay, docking ring control. "Earth strategy," Jonah said calmly. "You don't hit the enemy head-on. You break their balance." The commander studied the map. His tone changed. "That tactic was classified." Jonah gave a short smile. "Everything leaks, eventually." A deep vibration shook the station. Through the window, massive Dominion warships locked into firing position. Smaller assault craft detached and moved toward the docks. 7 minutes. Jonah opened a panel beneath the bar and pulled out a small device, no larger than his palm. Old human tech, crude by alien standards. The commander's eye widened. That device was banned. It worked, Jonah replied. He activated it. Across the station, lights flickered again. Shields stuttered. For half a second, the Dominion fleet lost sync. Jamming pulse, the commander whispered. Localized. Brilliant. Jonah was already moving. He ran, not fast, like a soldier in power armor, but fast enough. He cut through a side corridor, boots striking metal in steady rhythm. His mind split time into clean pieces. Left turn, down, ramp, cover. The first assault team met him near the power junction. 6 soldiers, heavy armor, they opened fire. Jonah slid across the floor, rolled behind a support beam, and fired 3 controlled shots. One soldier dropped, another spun, and fell. The rest hesitated. That was their mistake. Jonah rushed them. Close combat, fast, brutal, silent, when it was over. 4 bodies lay still. To fled, 6 minutes. Jonah placed a charge on the power junction and moved on. The commander followed, keeping distance. You move like the stories, he said. No wasted motion. Jonah didn't answer. He reached the defense grid relay and opened the panel. His fingers flew over controls. Most species could not understand. Human systems were built to be used under stress. The defense turrets outside the station rotated not outward, inward. Stop, the commander shouted. Jonah met his gaze. Trust me. He fired the relay. The station's own turrets opened fire on the incoming assault craft. Explosions lit the void. 2 ships vanished in fire. The Dominion fleet hesitated again. 5 minutes. Jonah's communicator crackled. Evac, almost complete, a mercenary voice said. You need to go. Jonah shut the channel. The commander stared at him. You are choosing death. Jonah shook his head. I'm choosing time. A loud impact shook the docking ring. Boarding parties were inside now. Jonah sprinted toward docking control. Blaster fire chased him. He leaped over fallen debris, slid under closing blast doors, and reached the control panel. For minutes, he locked all docking clamps, then reversed them. Outside, 3 Dominion cruisers suddenly jerked as the station pulled them in slightly just enough. Jonah smiled grimly. Newton, he muttered, every action. The station shuddered violently as one cruiser collided with another. Shields flared and failed. Fire blossomed. The commander fell to one knee, stunned. You're insane. Jonah helped him up. No, I'm human. 3 minutes. A massive warship powered its main cannon. The commander's voice was low. That shot will destroy the station. Jonah looked at the map. One last time, he moved to the final point. The core, the heart of the station. He armed the last device, a human emergency transmitter. Old, forgotten, but powerful. He sent the signal. 2 minutes, far across space, a dormant beacon woke, a code older than treaties, older than peace. The commander felt it and froze. That frequency, only Earth used that. Jonah nodded. 1 minute. The Dominion fleet adjusted, confused. Sensors screamed warnings, then space itself seemed to shift. Human warships dropped out of fold space around the station. Not many, but enough. Clean white holes, no markings. The kind that never came unless extinction was on the table. The commander whispered. You were never alone. Jonah watched the fleet arrive. No, he said quietly. I just didn't want to be found. Outside, humanity answered the call, and the galaxy held its breath. Space burned with light. Human warships slid fully into real space, silent and perfect in formation. They did not rush. They did not fire right away. They simply arrived on. That alone changed everything. The Dominion fleet froze. Target locks broke. Command channels filled with panic. No one had expected this. Humans had not answered a distress beacon in decades. Inside the station, Jonah watched the ships through the cracked viewport. Their design was simple, almost beautiful. Smooth white armor, no glowing symbols, no intimidation colors. They did not need them. The commander beside Jonah lowered his weapon. "This is impossible," he said. "Your world signed peace. You withdrew." Jonah nodded. "We did, but we never stopped listening." A human voice filled the station, calm and clear. "This is Earth Defense Command. All Dominion forces, power down weapons immediately." The voice paused. "You are in violation of human-protected space." The commander swallowed human-protected. "This station is not marked." Jonah turned to him. "It is now outside." One Dominion cruiser tried to flee. A single human ship moved. No warning shot. One clean beam cut across space, disabling the cruiser's engines without destroying it. A message followed. "Colder now." "Next one will not be a demonstration." Silence fell over the battlefield. Dominion ships powered down one by one. Inside the station, injured soldiers dropped their weapons. Boarding teams froze where they stood. The war was over before it truly began. The commander removed his helmet. Again, slowly. "So the stories were true," he said. "When humans return, they end wars." Jonah felt the tension leave his body all at once. His hands shook slightly for the first time. The communicator buzzed again. "Reaper," the voice said. "Command requests visual confirmation." Jonah closed his eyes. He had hoped to disappear after this, to fade back into quiet work and simple days. That hope was gone. He activated the channel. "This is Jonah," he said. "I'm alive," the voice on the other end broke. We never stopped looking. Human Marines began boarding the station. They moved with calm speed, helping civilians first, securing enemies second. No revenge, no cruelty, just control. The commander watched in silence. "Your kind has changed." Jonah shook his head. "We just learned when to stop." A Marine captain approached Jonah and snapped to attention. "Sir," she said, "permission to escort you home." Jonah looked at the people around him, the bar patrons, the workers, the ones who would live because of 8 minutes of hell. "Not yet," he replied. The captain hesitated, then nodded. "Understood." Later, in the quiet aftermath, the commander stood with Jonah near the viewport. "You could have killed me today," the commander said. "Twice." Jonah looked at him. "I spared you once. You remembered. That mattered." The commander bowed his head slightly. "What happens to me?" "You stand down," Jonah said, "and you tell your people what you saw." "What should I tell them?" Jonah thought for a moment. "Tell them humans don't want war," he said. "But if you force us to fight, we finish it." The commander accepted this dot as Dominion forces were escorted away. The station slowly returned to life. Fires were out. Power stabilized. Survivors hugged, cried, laughed. The bar was destroyed. Jonah smiled faintly at that. The captain returned. "Sir, command insists." Jonah sighed. "Of course they do." He removed the vest and placed it carefully on the counter. "I was a bartender," he said quietly. "I liked that." The captain softened. "You still can be, but the galaxy knows your name again." Jonah picked up the old rifle, then stopped. He set it down. "No," he said. "Let them remember something else." "What's that?" she asked. "That when humans arrived," Jonah said, "we came to protect outside the human fleet. Held position not as conquerors, but as guardians." The Reaper of Earth walked out of the bar, not as a legend, but as a man who had finished his war. The news spread faster than any fleet within hours. Every major channel in known space carried the same headline, translated into hundreds of languages. "Human warships return. Dominion stands down." Holograms showed the station Karth-9 damaged. But alive, images replayed again and again the moment human ships arrived, the moment Dominion weapons powered down, the moment a single human had stood between a fleet and helpless civilians. They did not show Jonah's face, but everyone knew the name, the Reaper of Earth. On worlds that had once fought humans, old veterans went quiet. Some drank in silence. Others stared at the stars and remembered battles. They had survived only because a human commander had chosen mercy on human worlds. People were confused. They had grown up hearing that the war was over, that Earth had stepped back to heal. They knew humans were dangerous, but they believed those days were finished. Now the galaxy had reminded them. Inside a secure human cruiser, Jonah sat alone in a small observation room. No weapons, no guards. just stars beyond the glass. He wore simple clothes again. A door opened softly. A woman entered, her hair silver at the edges, her uniform marked with the highest command symbols, Earth, still used. "Jonah," she said. He termed Admiral. She studied him carefully. "You look older," he smiled faintly. "I am?" They stood in silence for a moment. "You broke half our containment rules," the Admiral said. "Activated a forbidden beacon, forced us to show our hand." Jonah nodded. "People were going to die." "Yes," she agreed. "And because of you, they didn't." She moved closer to the glass. "The Dominion Council is demanding explanations. So are our allies. So are our enemies." Jonah said nothing. "They want to know if this means humanity is returning to the stars as a military power," she continued. "And are we?" Jonah asked. The Admiral met his gaze. "That depends on you." He frowned on me. "You are a symbol now," she said. "Like it or not, the Reaper is real again. If you stand with us, the galaxy will think twice before touching human space." Jonah looked back at the stars. "I spent years trying to forget who I was," he said quietly. "I served drinks. I listened to stories. I helped people have normal days." The Admiral's voice softened. "You earned that peace." "I know," Jonah replied, "but peace only lasts if someone is willing to protect it." Outside the cruiser, the human fleet slowly withdrew, leaving only a small defensive presence near Carth-9. It was a clear message. Humans would not occupy, but they would not vanish either. On Dominion worlds, emergency councils met. Old war footage resurfaced. Analysts replayed battles where human tactics broke entire armadas. One phrase repeated in every report: "Humans escalate last, but they escalate completely." Back on the station, survivors rebuilt. The bartender's bar became a quiet memorial. People left small tokens on the broken countercoins, symbols, handwritten notes in many languages. They called it the quiet line, a place where a human had drawn a boundary and said, "No further." Jonah watched it all through reports and images. Command wants you to lead a new defensive division, not an army, a shield. Jonah turned back to her. "No preemptive strikes, none," she promised. "Only response, only protection." Jonah considered this. For the first time since the war, the choice felt clean. "What happens if I say no?" he asked. The Admiral smiled sadly. "Then we respect it, and the legend fades again." Jonah exhaled slowly. He thought of the alien child behind the bar, the mercenaries who followed his orders, the enemy commander who remembered mercy instead of hatred. "Legends fade," Jonah said, "but fear lasts longer." He met her eyes. "Don't want the galaxy to fear humans," he continued. "I want it to trust our silence and respect our warning." The Admiral nodded. "Then say yes, on your terms." Jonah closed his eyes for a long moment. Then he opened them. "Do it," he said, "but I don't want the name." She raised an eyebrow. "No Reaper." "No," Jonah replied. "That name belongs to war." "And what name will you use?" she asked. Jonah looked out at the stars again. "Jonah," he said simply. "A human who steps in when the line is crossed." The Admiral smiled. "The galaxy won't see the difference." Jonah smiled back. "Just a little, maybe," he said, "but I will." Far away, ships adjusted their paths. Borders shifted, and across the galaxy. Everyone understood one truth. Humanity had not returned to conquer. It had returned to watch. The galaxy changed quietly. There was no celebration, no great speech from Earth, no banners in space. The human fleet did not spread outward or claim new systems. Instead, it did something far more unsettling. It stayed alert. Themselves, pirate clans dissolved overnight. Border skirmishes that had burned for decades suddenly stopped, as if the universe itself had taken a breath and decided not to fight. Across star maps, a simple note appeared near human-influenced space. Protected, do not PROVO. Cano fleet guarded every system. No soldiers marched through alien cities, but everyone remembered KARTH-9, and everyone remembered the bartender. Jonah returned to the station weeks later. Carth-9 was louder now, alive in a different way. Repairs were still underway, but trade had resumed. Ships docked carefully, almost respectfully. The air felt safer. Jonah walked through the crowd unnoticed. That was by design. He wore plain clothes, no armor, no rank, no weapon, just a human moving through alien space like any other traveler. The bar had been rebuilt, not exactly the same. The counter was new, but part of the old broken metal had been left in place. A reminder, Jonah stood behind it again. Owner, a round, many-eyed alien, froze when he saw him. You came back." Jonah nodded. "If you'll have me." The alien blinked twice. "You saved this station." "I also broke half of it," Jonah said calmly. The owner let out a strange sound that might have been laughter. "You can work here as long as you want." And so Jonah did. He served drinks again, but things were different now. Conversation stopped when he passed. Some customers watched him with awe, others with fear, many with gratitude. Jonah ignored it all. A young alien soldier entered one evening, nervous, uniform, new. He sat at the bar and stared at his drink. "You're him," the soldier said quietly. Jonah wiped the counter. "I'm the bartender." The soldier swallowed. "My commander told us what happened here. He said you spared him, said that mercy saved more lives than any weapon." Jonah finally looked at him, "And your commander learned the right lesson." The soldier nodded and left a generous tip. Weeks passed, the galaxy tested the line. A pirate fleet moved too close to a human-marked route. A single human ship appeared on their sensors. No message, no warning shot. The pirates turned around on another world. A tyrant threatened civilian transports. Human diplomats arrived first. They spoke calmly, clearly. The threat ended. Humanity became something new, not a conqueror, not a legend of destruction, a boundary. One night, Jonah felt it before he heard it, a familiar presence, the alien commander. From the Dominion War stepped into the bar. No armor this time, just simple clothing and tired eyes. They stared at each other for a long moment. "You kept your word," the commander said. "You told us to remember." "And you did," Jonah replied. The commander sat. "Our council has rewritten doctrine. No first strikes, no silent expansions. Because of you," Jonah poured him a drink. "Because of choice," the commander studied him. "You could have ruled worlds." Jonah shook his head. "Rulers create enemies. Bartenders hear truths." The commander gave a short, respectful bow. Later that night, Jonah closed the bar and stepped onto the observation deck. Stars stretched endlessly before him. "We're holding Jonah. No major threats. The line is stable." Jonah smiled softly. "Good. You could come back to Earth," she said. "Teach. Rest." Jonah looked at the station, at the paths of ships coming and going. "I'm where I need to be," he replied. He ended the call. For the first time in his life, Jonah felt no weight on his shoulders. The war was truly over. Not because it had been won, but because it no longer needed to be fought. Somewhere out there, new legends would rise. New conflicts would test the galaxy, but they would all remember one simple truth. Humans do not rush to war. Humans do not forget mercy. And when the line is crossed, they answer, "Jonah." Turned off the lights behind the bar, the bartender went home. The galaxy slept a little easier.